Great news, folks. DEI is dying.
After various conversations, I am very proud to report to you guys that Walmart has decided on making some changes. I'm going to lay out what those changes are for you and explain how massive this is for our movement. We are unstoppable at this point with a 100% flip rate where we change corporate America and get them back to a culture of sanity and neutrality. Bullet point number one, Walmart will be removing all inappropriate sexual and or transgender products that are marketed toward kids, things like chest binders for teenagers or books that encourage transitioning. That is all going to be gone.
I don't know if you caught that. He said chest binders. This is a chest binder. You can see it here. It's LGBTQ, so a girl who wants to look like a boy. Look at the difference. That doesn't even look real to me. Here's another one. She looks like a C cup, down to, less than an A cup. So if that's not political, I don't know what is. That's disturbing, to say the least.
Point number two, Walmart is going to review and stop funding to all events that could be sexually inappropriate for kids. That includes drag queen story time or pride events that expose kids to sexually inappropriate topics. That's all going to stop going forward.
So here we have an image of drag queen story time. You see how small and little these children are. Why do they need to indoctrinate small children? And they even said, we're coming for your children. Here's another one. These are little children. It is really inappropriate to talk to small children about sex. That is so inappropriate. And they were specifically targeting small children. And I think this is one of the major points that normal people are like, okay, you've gone too far now. Okay, you cannot come after our children. We don't care what you do in your bedroom privately, but if you're going to force it on our children, that's another matter.
Topics, that's all going to stop going forward. Third bullet point, Walmart will be closing their racial equity center. This is a center they had committed $100 million to, and it was a 5-year project. They will be closing that center going forward.
So here's a good image of what is the difference between equality and equity. When you see equality, everybody gets the same advantage, okay? But one man is taller, the next one is shorter, the third one is shortest. With equity, the one man gets nothing, the second one gets a little something, and the third one gets way more. And what you're doing actually by instituting equity, you're getting planes falling out of the sky, your military is turning to crap, and New Zealand just had a female, their first female captain, crash their warship, sink their warship in peacetime out of just sheer ineptitude, and worse than that, she didn't go down with the ship. Come on, man.
Closing that center going forward. Fourth bullet point, Walmart will no longer participate in the HRC's Corporate Equality Index social credit system. This scoring system is what has brought wokeness into so many segments of corporate America, and we are happy to see them no longer participating. There is not a corporation in America that should be participating with the HRC's CEI scoring system going forward. The HRC got explicitly political in the 2024 election, working with everything they have to defeat Donald Trump and calling him every name in the book. It is time for companies to recognize that they need to move away from this system that is explicitly political and embrace corporate neutrality so that everybody is welcome in their store.
HRC is the Human Rights Campaign. Okay. And so there's been a big push by BlackRock, the largest hedge fund, the largest pool of money in the world. And BlackRock is like, we're not going to invest in you if you don't meet our equity and all our ridiculous standards. So they're putting up all kinds of standards and making everybody woke. This is really significant that Walmart, the largest corporation, the largest hiring corporation in the world, is no longer going to follow this. This is very, very significant. God bless Walmart. They were started by the people who started Walmart are Christians, so God bless them.
Fifth bullet point, Walmart is going to be reviewing their supplier diversity programs to ensure that nobody's receiving preferential treatment on the basis of race, and they will also ensure that financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic information.
Supplier diversity. I worked for the federal government and I did contracting for the federal government for 5 years. I know what this is about. Okay, women-owned and minority-owned businesses always got preference. So if you do business with the government, you're always going to get a woman-owned or a female-owned or a minority-owned or both. That's even better. And so what happened is that all these companies, the guy would just put his wife, list his wife first, and then he does all the work, and that over and over and over. And my last job, I was the guy. The auditors would come in, and I would supervise the auditors. I was the go-between. That's actually a very high position. I was actually over the CFO of the medium-sized $300 million agency, which is very small for a government agency. And I hope Trump really cuts these government agencies. But the government is big on this. They're all about this. This is not good. This is not getting the best person just because you're a woman or you're a black woman. And it was always black women. That's the higher level of diversity, quote, diversity. They would always get it. So that's going to be gone now.
Sixth bullet point, and this is a favorite for me, being Latino myself, Walmart will no longer be using the term Latinx in any of their official communications. That is going to be wiped away. I was very disappointed to see it was there, but again, this is across corporate America. So this is a company, Walmart, who is doing the right thing here, and I want to give them credit for that. Getting rid of this, big. We don't want to hear Latinx ever again.
What even is Latinx? I don't even know what that is. Here's Mexico saying Latinx. Okay, no entiendo. I don't understand. Colombia says, I don't even understand. No entiendo. I don't even know what that is. So let's search. Latin and Latinx are both used as gender-neutral alternatives to feminine Latina and masculine Latino. Yeah, that's just what we need. We need to eliminate. No, we don't. That's nonsense. I'm a man. Okay, and there's two genders, male and female. Each form is replacing the grammatically gendered and o. That's ridiculous. Because if you know Spanish, and there's a lot of Spanish speakers in our country, and my last girlfriend was Puerto Riqueña, and we went to Puerto Rico many, many times. Everything is male or female in Spanish. Everything, table, chair, everything. There's no neutral in Spanish. And what's wrong with that? Nothing. And English is largely that way as well.
Bullet point number 7, Walmart will be discontinuing their racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Again, getting rid of woke training.
Getting rid of woke training. This actually sounds really small, but I was a federal employee for 25 years. And basically they would they would require you to go sit in a room, and if you were white, they would tell you were racist, and there's just nothing you can do about it. That is stupid. It is stupid. That is stupid, and that is evil, and that is discrimination. And the solution to past discrimination is not current discrimination or even worse discrimination. And a lot of these people actually preach that the road to equality is discrimination. It's vile, and it needs to stop.
And last but not least, drumroll please for the big one, DEI. They will be discontinuing use of DEI both publicly and privately at Walmart.
Woo!
Yeah! You don't cut me off! Woo! Hey! Don't you start that with me! Woo! Woo!
Getting rid of DEI. Walmart will discontinue the use of DEI.
Yeah! You don't cut me off! Woo! Hey! Don't you start that with me! Woo! Woo!
That is amazing. What is DEI? DEI is reverse discrimination. That is what it is from the beginning to the end. It is reverse discrimination. And just like that equity picture, they're just giving people advantages. And recently, I know that Harvard was required to get rid of DEI. And it dramatically changed in their admissions. And it dramatically changed who's getting admitted into Harvard. Because why are you going to admit people into Harvard who can't cut the mustard and do the work the only way you're going to be able to keep them in the university without them having to drop out is by making lower standards for them. We should do this in the military. That's what they're doing. And it makes us not a good fighting force. Planes are going to fall out of the sky. China's going to invade us. When the firemen come, the 95-pound girl is not going to be able to carry you out of the burning building. 3 of them are not going to be able to carry you out of the burning building, and you're going to die. So that's DEI. DEI equals DIE. Thank you, Walmart, for doing this, and may God bless you. Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Is DEI DIE-ing, dying? Let's examine that. So, I mean, there's a lot of liberal terror. People losing their minds and freaking out that Trump became president. And saying, oh, he's a fascist and everything's going to go so terrible. But he was already president for 4 years. I mean, get over yourself, and 79% of Americans before the election said, oh, we think the country is going in the wrong direction. What do they mean by that? They mean Brandon, flinging open the border, the runaway inflation, eggs went to $7.50, and yes, they killed a lot of chickens. Gas went to $7. I mean, it was crazy. I'm retired. I'm living on a retirement income, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to get another job. I need more income because my money is worth half as much, okay, in just these 4 years. And that's really bad. That's how you get invaded. That's how you get world wars. I mean, that's how Germany got, that's how we got World War II after World War I. And you know what they asked Germany to do? They wanted reparations. Does that sound familiar? They put reparations on Germany for the First World War, and it squeezed them to death, and we got World War II out of it. What a great idea. Reparations is such a great idea. These people are so far-seeing, punishing people who had nothing to do with slavery. Hundreds of years later, the people who actually abolished slavery. If you want to do something about slavery, there are open-air slave markets operating on the continent of Africa right now, run by black Africans. And who are they selling these slaves to? Muslim Arabs. Okay? Why aren't they doing anything about that? Because it's all just a grift. So, back to this DEI stuff. Is the gay community afraid of additional discrimination? Okay, like, will there be open discrimination against gay, LGBTQ, AI, DTV plus, whatever? Will there be more discrimination? Because I think I told you this story. I had a Chinese friend. He was 100% Chinese. He was first generation American. He was a little guy, not very large man, not a physically imposing man. And he went to China he was somebody who was like living with his parents at in his 30s, not terribly successful. And he decided to go to China to teach English. And he was there just a few days, and we got word back that he was thrown off the roof of a bar and died. And what happened? In China, they do discriminate against gay people a little bit. They thought he was gay, and they took him up to the top of a roof, and they threw him off, and he died. And in all the Muslim nations, and apparently in China, they'll do that as well. That is discrimination. We don't have anything like that here. We have a whole month celebrating sexual practices of these people that I don't want to know about this. In the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, everybody's like, who cares what you do in your bedroom? Well, it's not in their bedroom. They're doing trans story hour to your children. We're coming after your children. They're marching in the streets. They're waving their dinglings naked in the streets and baring their breasts. That's not what we signed up for. So let's do a Celtic cross. Is there going to be any kind of discrimination, like more discrimination against gays? Is it going to get worse for the LGBTQ community under Trump? Because that's what they're afraid of. Okay, they're very emotional. The basis is not logic or rationality or any kind of facts. It's emotionalism. Official government. This is a new thing starting in the government, and it's all emotions and not rationality. It's all going to happen very suddenly. Ooh, and they're just, the devil is on the mind. They're just afraid that Donald Trump is going to discriminate. It's all fear, and this could also say that they're thinking of rioting, making these, taking over parts of the city like the Chaz and running it and killing each other, because they love to do crap like that, because whatever. Okay, a lot of conflict. I'm actually wondering if there's going to be like more riots, but everything is just going to be above board. This is what we're doing, and they do it. They're going to tell you what, the government is going to tell you what they're going to do, and they're going to do it. And it's very solidly based in law and the Constitution. Hopes and fears. They're afraid of more problems for the LGBT community. And I keep wanting to say gay, but gay men are like straight white men now. They are completely disregarded and considered as privileged. So gay men should not be, they're like not, by this community, they're like considered not LGBTQ. Okay, but what's happening is we're establishing a solid foundation rather than all this nonsense and emotionality. So it's all based in emotions. We might see some more riots. I'm concerned that we're going to see some social unrest. But it's not reality, it's emotions and anger and fear and anger and emotions. Everything else is pretty solid. So let's ask, are we going to see a lot of social unrest? Are we going to see more social unrest as a result of, are we just going to see more social unrest in the near future? Specifically, Trump is sworn in January 6th, and I hate to keep mentioning Trump, but that's what this is really about. Walmart eliminated their DEI program because Trump is being elected, and the tides have changed, and you're going to see it everywhere. And like I mentioned, BlackRock is the largest pool of money in the world. Everybody wants in. Everybody wants some of that money. And businesses run on money. I'm a CPA. I know all about money. Businesses run on money. That's the life blood. That's literally the blood pumping through the veins of business. It's not evil or good. It's just that's how stuff works. And people want their share of that money. And if you're an evil person, if you can control that money for your own evil purposes like BlackRock is doing, that's very dangerous. So you can do a lot of evil with it, or you can do a lot of good with it. So are we going to see a lot of social unrest as a result of the tides changing? Let's do 5 cards. Scapegoat. Ooh, executioner. This is a very interesting spread. This is crowds of people join together. Cross, the permanent foundation, and coffin. Let's get that closer. Yeah, so there's a lot of black cards. 3 out of 5 are black. I don't count this one. Let's count them. 21, 27, 34, 38. 36 is 9 spades. 10 hearts, 10 diamonds in the foundation. So this could be literally death. This is powerful forces are sick. Sickness and powerful forces are going to act upon the many people, to affect the permanent foundation and destroy, to kill the permanent foundation. So I would say that yes, we're going to see quite a bit. We're going to see more social unrest. Okay, and so that devil that we saw in the Celtic cross, that's people planning evil deeds. We could see terrorism. We could see, yeah. Let's ask, are we going to see acts of literal terrorism? Are we going to see larger scale acts of terrorism? You know, and like in Europe, this happens all the time because of the mass migrations of people from the Muslim countries in Africa. Primarily, they go into markets and they just stab up a whole bunch of people. I would say that's a pretty major act of terrorism. You know, if you're going to kill 5 people or more, just for no reason other than you're a monster, that's major. So are we going to see large acts of terrorism coming up because of people losing the DEI and this stuff? Queen. Oh yeah, disaster. Big change. Yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. But order is going to be restored. Oh, the man is upside down. He's going to be caught. You know, this is, you know, direct action is going to be taken to recover, to restore order. Okay, but it's a crisis. The man is upside down. So karmic shift. Yeah, big changes are coming. And Fox is very clever and very calculating. And the Fox always acts on the situation and the people in the situation. So yeah, they're planning terrible, terrible things. So I specifically asked about terrorism. So yeah, they're gonna really go after and do terrible acts of terrorism. And the seeds of this are really, really planted. So yeah. So they're very much afraid of discrimination, and it's all very emotional, and they really want to tear down the current system, and they are planning, very much planning, acts of terrorism. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what we're gonna see. You know, like I'm fixing up my house. And when you're fixing up your house, first you have to tear stuff up and it just looks like a bomb dropped in your house. And then you rebuild stuff. And so that's what we're seeing here. We're going to see stuff torn down and rebuilt in order, but there's going to be crises. Like what just happened with Biden. He was in the rainforest, you know, peddling his, oh, we love the environment. And then during his rainforest talking, he said, we're sending long-range missiles to Ukraine to strike inside Russia. And Russia immediately changed their rules of engagement with regard to sending nukes. So Biden, before he leaves, he's just got a few weeks left in office, he's trying to start World War III. He's creating chaos. And that's what we're seeing. They want to create as much chaos as possible because they're losing, you know, they don't want to work hard for their living. They just want it given to you by the government. And that's, none of the government's money is the government's money. It's all my money and your money. You paying for these idiots to lay on their butts and not work. So they're gonna kick up a big fuss, and they're really planning stuff. And they're really, really organized, and they're going to organize all the people, and they're going to try to tear down what is now going to be tried to build. They're trying to build in the next 4 years. They're trying to reestablish some order, and we're seeing this in Argentina. We're seeing this in Brazil. We're seeing all the same stuff all over the world. So anyway, that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. And I'll see you.